Okay, today is September 30th, 2025. It's September 30th, 2025. It is a Tuesday. It's about 6:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and this is my interview with Bill Greathouse. How you doing, Bill?
I'm doing good.
Okay, so we talked about when we were not on camera the last couple days. We're going to kind of give you a refresher about True Force Loneliness, TFL for short. It stands for True Force Loneliness, and explain exactly how you came across this concept that there was such a thing as True Force Loneliness. Now, that is your invention, so you get credit for it. It's not to be confused with incel, which is this whole. We'll talk about that as we go. But what is tell us
Right.
what True Force Loneliness or TFL is?
And True Force Loneliness came about for the fact that, for years you approach women, you do everything society told you to do. And I used to say 1 to 5 seconds, but anymore it's more like 2.5 seconds.
Yeah,
Okay.
how about 0.01 seconds?
Yeah. They already
They know it
know,
right away.
and just that quick, they already know that you're not good enough. They're going to reject you. They're going to
Yeah.
reject you.
Hmm.
And it continues to happen over and over and over. And I
Right.
started questioning myself.
Yeah.
What's going on? Why is this happening?
Because you need to blame yourself.
Right, and so that's where I come up with the concept. And then when I didn't stop looking, and then when I met that Filipino over in the Philippines,
Right.
and I had one over to the Philippines and come back, okay, on my way there, I mean, like just the trip there, 5 different Americans from different part of the country. We're on a 5 hour layover at the airport, and we're sitting around talking to each other. And by golly, if our stories wasn't identical, we never met each other in our life, and our stories were identical. Of course, to me, that sends up red flags. And so when I come back on the way back, I met about three more.
To say the same
Okay,
thing.
same thing, right? So this is where I come up with the term because the reality is if you do everything society tells you to do, you got a job, you're dressing up decent, you're not filthy, dirty, blah, blah, blah. And you do everything somebody tells you to do, and this is what keeps happening to you over and over and over and over and over and over, and it just non-quit, then technically you're being forced to be alone.
Hence the term true forced loneliness. And I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good term. TFL, true forced loneliness. And
And
it's
so
just
I had wrote it down on paper and I called it true forced loneliness because you're truly being forced to be alone.
yeah, you're forced. That's
Not that
people
you
don't
want to
understand.
be.
It's forced by society. You're forced to be alone.
Yes. So you're forced out. It's pushed onto you. And of course, you know how it is. I come online with the intentions on finding out why are people acting this way? Why is the behavior? Okay. And of course, I was on a website called Just Say Hi, and I had made a post there. I had made a post on News
Just,
Roots on
just say just say lie.
right.
Just
Okay.
say lie.
But this is where I met Dwayne, was on Just Say Hi.
Yeah.
And it was a post that I'd made on what I was going through. And of course, I didn't know Dwayne at the time. He's the one that replied to it.
Hmm.
And we talked over there, typing to each other, and then, my spelling stinks, right?
That's all right.
But
Forgive
we
yourself.
managed to get through it. And then Dwayne and I ended up talking on cam. The first time I saw Dwayne, he had a towel over his head. Okay, but and then when I come online with it on YouTube, I was up for a little while when Steve come along and made a reply to one of my videos.
I sure did. I still have that video, and I'm gonna
Yep,
I'm gonna repost it. It'll be classic. The first response video to Bill Greathouse.
it was. It was my very first reply video that was ever sent to me. It was by
Hmm.
Mr. Hoka here.
Right.
Okay, Dwayne, nobody knew he existed.
Right.
He was there, he was in the background, and it was Steve that got Dwayne to come out of the woodwork.
Hmm.
That wasn't my doings, that was totally Steve. Okay. But he got Dwayne to put himself on cam. So I had to give him kudos there. Nobody knew who Dwayne was.
Right.
So, but that's where the name came from.
Hmm.
And I was looking to find out why. My thing is the behaviors. Why are females doing this? Why are people doing this? I didn't know my research was going to lead me to the NWO topic, but it did.
Mm-hmm.
And when you really dig into NWO, you find out that it was always an agenda.
Right.
TFL is nothing, it's a name I gave to an existing condition problem,
Right.
but it was social engineered into society for the NWO agenda
Right.
to do away with the family unit.
Yeah, and you want to know something, just to intervene. You know, societies, when you control the population, they're harder to control. They're hard when you have very few people to fight the resistance, it's easier to create a dictatorship. And so they're doing a good job because dictatorships to fight a dictatorship, you have to have mass amounts of people, and you can't do it when you only have 0.3 kids per family or whatever.
Oh, well, you got that. And then, of course, and if you keep people fighting each other over
Right.
everything in sight,
Mm-hmm.
you keep people divided by fighting each other, whether it's your
Right.
gender's fighting, your race is fighting, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Right? The problem.
Yeah, well, we know that.
They create the problems that we all go through, and it doesn't
Right.
matter who you are.
Yeah, and you
And
know
then
what,
they
Bill?
gave you a solution.
Right, they gave you the solution. But I wanted to say that when you did that three-part series about what true force loneliness is, you talked about how a guy goes out, sees a guy and a girl, a guy and a girl, a guy and a girl. And I
Yes, I
wanted to
did.
tell you about that because that's all subjective because people that have a guy and a girl are more apt to be out in public. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Well, you're correct about that. I broke it down because I
Hmm.
wanted people to understand
It isn't, that's not the majority
exactly
of
what I
guys.
was talking about,
Yeah. Hmm.
So my idea with that at that time was to break it down to a fine-tuned point of you go out, you do everything society told you to do, you're constantly rejected. You turn on TV, what do you see? A guy and girl together.
Hmm.
You go out to the park, what do you see? A guy and a girl together. You go to a
Right.
mall, you go to a store, you see a guy and a girl
A
together.
guy and a girl in their baby carriage. Yeah.
Right. And you continuously see this. Well, of course, if you're constantly rejected and you continuously see this, it eats you up from the inside out.
Right.
Okay, this is where, and of course, back then you could only do a 10-minute video, and 10 minutes and 2 seconds it didn't go up.
Right.
Okay, so,
I remember those
that
days.
was, yep,
Then
that
they
was the
gave you the
beginning,
extra 5 minutes. I remember when it went over to 15
right,
minutes. Yeah.
exactly. So,
Hmm.
back then it was like, so I wound up with three parts to one video because
Right.
you had to watch your time because if you went 2 seconds over 10 minutes, it didn't go up.
Right.
Okay, so you watch your time, but I didn't know at the time that I created it how big the problem was. I knew it was big because of the Philippines, but I didn't realize it was global. I wasn't awake to NWO yet.
Right.
Okay, I come to investigate the dating scene and what's going on. And I run smack into NWO,
Yeah.
okay, amongst my research. But it was proven to be that's the actual cause, and it is.
Okay.
TFL
I
was a
have a
name to a symbol.
I believe the social engineering is part of it. I do think that when you couple the social engineering with mass immigration, which is mostly men, it makes it harder to compete in that society. And it does because it what it really does is it puts you at odds. Like you're now your son, for example, who has to compete with more men coming into the country.
Well, yes, you're right about that. Even if let's just say we back up, we don't have the men coming into the country.
Yeah.
You still have the problem,
Yeah.
okay, because it was social engineered into society,
Okay.
okay? And the reality about what Steve's talking about is true because all you did was take a problem that was already here,
And make
that
it
was
worse.
already growing, and you made it like instead of growing a little here, it's like to say they do everything in baby steps. When they started bringing these people across the border, it's like making big leaps.
Yeah.
Okay, you're making big leaps. You're adding this many more men, this many more men, this
Yeah,
many
and
more men.
there's a guy who was on here, and I won't mention his name because I'm going to keep this just between me and you. But he's claiming that in Canada they brought in like over a 5 year period, like 800,000 or men from India, and they're like flooding the country with these poor Indian men, and they're all dudes. It's like they're not bringing any women in; it's all men, and so they're just flooding the market with more men. And then, of course, Canada already is a very anti-male society to begin with.
Well, yeah, you have. Well, yeah,
Canada's by far the worst. By
as sad as it is to
right.
say, the anti-male thing. Oh
Hmm.
God, I'm on board with that. I mean, You can look in Japan,
Right.
okay? I mean, that's like one of the biggest countries for TFL.
Oh, for
Okay, but
sure.
the reality is the gender divide breakdown was an agenda
Mm-hmm.
that affects everybody across the globe.
Right.
Whether people want to believe it or not, it affects everybody across the globe because the agenda was for what it's for.
Right.
But your
Right.
Western countries really got hit hard. If I was to go, Australia is probably, my God, Australia is
Yeah.
bad. Do you think the women are toxic over here? You haven't seen nothing.
Yeah.
I
A lot
mean,
of,
they dwarf United Kingdom. You know, it went from like Australia to United Kingdom.
yeah.
Okay. Well, over in Australia, it's really nasty. Women, I mean, being born, I used to be sarcastic and say, when you're born with a penis, you're born to be dicked over your entire life.
They say that when a man is born, it's his job to prove that he's worthy of something, where a woman doesn't have to prove her worthiness. She just has to exist.
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah.
You know what? They've got it down to an art, but see, that was for divide and conquer.
Right.
If you place one on a pedestal and you teach, okay, who was it that decided that they could sign to you what your gender is, what your role in life is in
Right.
your society based on your gender?
Hmm.
Okay, it's just complete lunacy, but it was for divide and conquer, and they've done a wonderful job because think about it. We placed the woman on the pedestal. But for years, we put it on the TV set that the men were raping and abusing and beating the poor little women and the poor
Yeah.
little women and blah, blah, blah. Okay. And we painted out the women as the victim. But when you really looked for them years, the men were the villains. You find out the women were the villains. And the men were being painted out as the villain, and the women loved it.
Yeah, this is a very taboo subject. People won't touch this women issue with the 10-foot pole. And like, it's
Uh,
now you're allowed to criticize Israel in the Jays now, but you're not allowed to criticize the male female dynamic between the sexes.
well,
This is the
see
number one taboo subject right at there right now.
what you're saying is it's always been taboo since the beginning. But I can honestly say this. If I was to go back 10, 11 years ago
Right.
and I did a Karen video, my channel would be gone.
Right.
Okay. Now you have the phrase Karen
Right.
and you have these nutty women that are blah, blah, blah. Okay.
They're
But
middle aged,
see, I
like,
always
yeah.
knew the closer they got to closing in on the agenda, that they would actually move it on the women. And I also always knew that one day we're going to leave the simps out of this picture because I don't call them men.
Yeah.
Okay. I just call them, I wished I was a man and they should be illegal for them to carry the manly parts because there's nothing manly about their behavior.
Right.
So, but leave the simps out of it. I knew that one day enough abuse was going to happen upon the men that did have women that men would start seeing through the complete toxic female because it got worse and worse. And more men would start walking away and choose not to date just for
Hmm.
if it comes to marriage in today's society, there's nothing in it for a man. Nothing. You know, if you got a good career going for yourself and you have bought your own home and you got this and this going for yourself and you get married to her, you know, now everything you've worked for is on the line because
Right.
she can use the corrupt court system and throw you away like a piece of garbage
Yeah.
and take half, if not more, of what you worked for away from you and claim it for herself.
Well, I know
And
a guy in a similar situation like that, only he was living with his live-in girlfriend, and they're both in their 60s. And she called the police because he was drunk and said, I'll kill you or whatever. So she literally got him evicted out of his house for almost a year. And he had to spend money on a hotel. Now then she begged the judge, oh, please let him back. Well, once you open up that legal can of worms, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. So she's
no,
begging. This is why I recommend women, if you're watching this, don't before you call the police on your boyfriend or husband, really calculate whether you're going to be dealing with this inconvenience because that's really bad too.
yeah, and then what did you see online?
Right.
There's a few of them that are good ones. They're being pretty accurate.
Mm-hmm.
If you go on TikTok and you pay attention to these women, and of course it's not all, there's
Right.
a couple women over there that I give total thumbs up and kudos to because they're calling out the other women's behavior. They're
Right.
pointing out the stuff they're saying and saying to you know, and pointing it out that you're the reason men don't want anything to do with you. When you tell a guy just to go on a date with them, they need to pay your monthly bills. I mean, it's lunacy, you know, they're out of their mind. Why would you
Women,
pay,
women don't
you
know
know,
how
rent,
many guys.
utilities and blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
just for the privilege of her being in your company to have a date on you, a date with you. And then after you pay her bills, what, she to ghost you? You never hear from her again? I mean, you know, it's complete insanity, but I wouldn't go there with this. I just look at the reality. A lot of this is really happening. But see, we've moved in on the female gender now because we're getting closer to their end goal. That's the reason, because what Steve said earlier is so true. Okay. If we went back 10, 11 years ago and we started criticizing women, that'd be the end of our channels. I mean, you know, that's the reality is when you get attacked when you criticize, we still get attacked now, but it's nowhere like it used to be. Okay, because it was a lot worse. I mean, think about when TFL first took off. Okay, the controversy was through the roof. The attacks were never ending. You were constantly attacked. I know, I was here. You're constantly attacked. You're a woman hater. You're this, you're that, you're the other. And you're none of the above, but they want to say you are because you dared to speak out against
Right.
the one that can't make no mistakes. And personally, I have yet to meet an honest woman. I've met a lot of women, but I haven't met an honest one.
There's, you know what, Bill? It's kind of up in the air. I see a lot of these people that women that genuinely love men. It's hard to put a percentage on it. All I can say is
Is
if, but I will say this TFL problem is only getting worse, and it's to the point now where I don't know how they can put this genie back in the bottle. I don't this
I
separation of
don't think you're
sexes.
going to put it back in the bottle, personally,
Right.
Steve, and I think it's going to continue to get worse because,
Hmm.
well, it's got the agenda's playing out perfect.
Yeah, they're gonna.
Because,
We got bigger fish to fry right now. We got to worry about this.
yeah,
Trump now wants to enact hate speech laws and everything and crazy stuff
oh,
like that.
yeah. Well, you know, that's just it, and it's not really from Trump. It's from the fact that
Oh, it's the
his
whole political
handlers,
system.
yeah, his handlers, you know,
His handlers,
I
right?
just
He's not
call
the
it
one making the
governments.
decisions. No.
Yeah, yeah. I just call governments what they are as actors, but they got their handlers tell them what to do. You can call it the deep state, you can call it whatever you want, okay?
Hmm.
I personally don't care. I'm not going to go there with you.
Yeah.
I'm only going to tell you Trump don't run nothing.
He runs nothing. No, he makes no decision. He's an actor. He's just playing a
Exactly.
role. Just like that
And
show, The Apprentice. He's just playing a role.
it's so far down the pike
Right.
that even your local mayor in the little hick towns in all
Yep.
states
They're
across the
controlled
United
too.
States has already been bought off.
They've been bought off. Yeah, I can personally attest to that. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. And it doesn't matter what state or what town or how little the town
That's
is or
really
how big
bad
the
because it
town is.
used to be that your small town would be the only place where you could get democracy. But now the small town mayor is all bought and paid for.
Well, you know, and I don't even like using the word democracy. The courts
Mhm.
use it, the TV set uses it because
Right.
that's social engineering. All I do is tell you this. When you went to school, Steve, did they teach you, did you have to say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag?
You had to, yes.
Okay. Was it into a democracy or into a republic?
It's a republic.
Right. Now, some people argue with you and say, but democracy and republic are the same. No, they're not.
No, they're not.
They're not. When you first read the first part of democracy and the first part of republic, they read the same. But as you get down on the
Democracy,
dot,
just to interject, democracy would never work anyways. It's
no,
too inconsistent. You can't have democracy would mean that 51% could override the 49% who are way
yeah,
smarter. So you can't
yeah.
democracies are a scheme.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
And in a republic, your Bill of Rights, your Constitution, because now
Right.
every country on the face of this earth has a Constitution.
Right.
Okay. I like to say that they named it appropriately. Con.
Yeah.
Leave the rest out.
Yeah.
You've been conned, okay? The reality is in a democracy, or it's a democracy is really the roadmap to communism,
Right.
okay? And in a republic, the Bill of Rights, the Constitution are inalienable, can never be voted away, amended, or changed.
Right.
Now look at the current con job that they're using. You find amendment, amendment, amendment. Why? Because they sold the public on that they lived in a democracy. That way they could vote and change and take away your rights, which is exactly what they've been doing. You know, and it gestures to be truthful when it comes right down to the reality. You see something else in society you didn't see 10 years ago. You see all of these First Amendment auditors with cameras on the street. I see a Timothy McVeigh. I see patsies. I
Hmm.
see people being set up
Right. But
because
let's kind
when
of keep.
things get bad, they're gonna. Oh well, I've got a constitution. You're gonna find out you ain't got nothing. You're in behind bars.
Mhm.
That's what's gonna happen to them. They're being set up.
So let's kind of keep it focused on the
Right.
TFL thing because I do know that this is an important subject. We're talking about the TFL. So what is the TFL? There's no solution to this problem. Most people need to know that they're not the only ones struggling with this
Oh well, no, they're
inability
not.
to meet a woman.
You know, so many men are gonna have trouble meeting a woman.
Yeah,
You know, and it's just not gonna do you any good. To you know, I feel bad for people because I've seen people over the years that's actually killed themselves because they couldn't get a woman in
yeah,
their life,
right.
and I don't like seeing that. You know,
Yeah,
but I can't do anything about it. I mean, you're not going to change it because it's gone on for too long. The only thing I can tell you is you got to find things that you can do, go out and live your life to keep yourself occupied to the best that you can. And maybe someday you'll meet, because nothing's 100% across the board, nothing.
yeah.
Maybe someday you'll meet a woman that actually won't, and you blah, blah, blah. But don't hold your breath on it. You can't go through life every day. I can't meet somebody. I'm rejected. I'm rejected. I'm rejected because you're going to tear your own self up. When I said it eats you from the inside out, it does.
Bill, let me ask you a question. We've heard the term incel, and that's made it pretty mainstream. Why do you think that the powers that be have been against your term, true forced loneliness? Why have they not adopted what you created?
Because they control everything.
Right,
They don't want anything that's grassroots.
right,
Everything, and I mean, your television set, your newspapers, your magazines, your everything around you in every single country, all media in every single country is owned by the same entity.
right.
Okay. TFL was not supposed to be. But at the time when we did this, YouTube was not owned by Google.
You're
The
right.
owners, three guys, and they were forced into court and sold out for taken right out from under them
Hmm.
and passed
Just
over to
by the way,
Google.
just like TikTok was sold, they forced a sale.
Yes. Okay. See, you know, so they forced the sale, and I remember that. YouTube was seen as the unforeseen media
Hmm.
because they had control over all sources of media worldwide. And then here comes YouTube. Now they had to get their hands on it. And you know, and when they did get their hands on it, that's when I come under attack by you know who, but that's a
Right,
whole nother story. But just the same, TFL is very, very real.
right.
Incel was created as a direct attack against TFL
Hmm.
because was not the owner. They could not get their hands on to shut TFL up until they get their hands on YouTube. Okay. Once they got their hands on YouTube, now they can, and then of course they knew they had to bring more people in. And if
Yeah.
you think about it, when they first got their hands on it, they brought this guy and gal used to sit on a couch. They called themselves Dan and Jen, and they gave dating advice.
Dan and Jen, yeah, those
And
are the early years.
yes,
Yeah, they're
and
from the
their
old.
focus was on young teen girls.
Yeah,
Okay, and the message is, well, see how picky all these women are now that are
And
young,
Dan was
young.
hyper pussy whipped too.
Yes,
Dan
exactly.
and
Okay.
Jen.
So there you are. I did a reply at Dan and Jen one time. That video didn't make 5 minutes and YouTube yanked it down because you're not allowed to apply to their agents,
Right.
reply to their agents, to their people that are working for them. So, then of course they gave you Coach Red Pill, Coach Black Pill, you
Yeah.
know, and the list goes on, Sam, man. And that what they did, and when I first come online on YouTube, YouTube was only maybe a year old.
Yeah.
And we already had Paul Elam,
Hmm.
men's rights what? Problem, reaction,
Right.
solution.
By the way, speaking of Paul Elam, I mentioned to him before, he's such an old relic that he cannot relate to what younger guys go through. I don't think he's capable of it.
I think I think he was paid to do what he does.
Hmm.
And even if he knows about it, he's never going to say it because he can't, because he wants his tool.
Right, and he wants to be in the company of women, and I've noticed that with Paul Elam. Paul Elam never wants to offend women.
Oh
Well, just
no.
being polite here. He's never wants to offend women at all.
No, he won't stand up for her. I'm sure he would never
Yeah,
stand up to
we've seen
her.
a lot of these guys come and go.
Yeah.
The other guy that wouldn't, he pretended he was tough was that guy that called himself MGTOW is freedom. Remember that guy with the blonde hair?
Yes.
That guy completely simped out too.
That's what they do. I mean, these people come up here like that, and for me it was never about simping out. It was about calling for what I called it.
Yeah.
And the reality was I'll stand by the woman who's standing for what's right, because this is always for me has been about
Hmm.
right and wrong. It's never been about sex. The incel was taken off of the back of involuntary celibacy.
Right.
Okay. And they're saying, oh, you're just mad because you can't get laid.
Well, there's some, Bill, I
That
think
had
we can say
nothing to
that
do with
there's
getting
some truth to
laid.
that. Bill, there's some truth to that. A lot of guys are upset that they can't get laid. Let's be honest about it. Let's call it out.
Well, I understand that, but
You
TFL
can't
wasn't
just get
about
so
that.
puritanical about it, Bill, and say, well, you just want to get laid. Well, that's what women do to men all the time. You just want to get laid. Well,
Oh, I understand that. I understand what
yeah,
you're saying, but I'm
yeah.
just telling you, TFL wasn't about that.
No, I know
Because
TFL is
the
like trying to,
reality was is
yeah,
if a guy and a girl could get together, the getting laid would happen naturally.
right.
But if you can't even secure a date,
Yeah,
okay, you know, if you can't even get a date,
yeah,
I'm sorry. I mean, what's your next option?
yeah.
Prostitute?
Well, remember they had that website that ashleymadison.com. They broke into it, and these hackers found out that only like 0.2% were females. They were all dudes pining for women.
Yes,
It's
that's right.
unbelievable. They try to make it look like 50% of women wanted to have an affair. You couldn't even get laid there.
And it wasn't at all because you couldn't even, you
Yeah,
know, and then you've seen people do this too. They go up and get themselves a picture of a
yeah,
nice looking male, and they go up there and they post it up on a dating site. Then they get the picture of just an average Joe woman and they post it up on the dating site.
yeah.
And they do their experiments to see what's what.
So the average looking woman will
Time
get
it's
like,
got a penis between its legs, it's over with,
yeah, it is. It's pretty much, yeah,
you know? And if it's got the hole, well,
yeah,
I mean, what do you do? I mean, I'm not against people having sex. It's just TFL wasn't about getting laid.
yeah.
It was about trying to bring the genders together again. Of
You're
course,
not, you're not, you
they
know
couldn't
what?
have that.
You're never bringing the genders back, I don't think.
Oh, you're not. But I tried.
Yeah.
And the reality is even though I get an E for effort because I tried, but of course, that's the last thing the people at the top would want.
Hmm.
Okay. They didn't accidentally make a name out of a university and call it incel. And it's a female that couldn't get laid, by the way, not a male.
Hmm.
Okay. And, but that was no accident. Okay. It was deliberate. It was an
Right.
attack against TFL because
Right.
TFL was grassroots.
Right.
Okay. We were here before any of this. So therefore, it was totally grassroots. Steve was on here speaking about TFL for many years,
Mm-hmm.
just like I was. Probably the only difference is I did a lot more political stuff
Yeah.
than Steve
Well, you know
did.
what burned me out, Bill, and I'll tell you right now, and it includes some of the people watching these videos. You don't know who these people are in the background. Like, because we take it for granted that we know each other on a first and last name basis. But these people, you really can tell their true colors when they comment in a positive way, and then you'll find them. You'll go to another channel, and that same person will be saying what an asshole they think you are. Pardon my language, but they'll
Oh, well, yeah.
yeah, so
I
you
like to
really
call
know
these
these
are two
people. There's
faces, you
something
know?
weird. Like I wish to God I understood the psychology of the people that watch my channel. I don't even know who these people are, you know?
You don't. You're either going to get a troll or you're going to get this person that's what I would still call that trollish behavior.
Yeah,
You know, if they've got two faces
right.
and when they're on your channel, they're presenting this face to you.
Yeah.
And then when you're over here on another channel, they don't know you're there. They put out their other face and they got that face on.
Right. It's really
Okay.
bad. There's a lot of mental illness, and I think that this is mental illness when you figure out that one problem with the internet, and you probably will agree with this, is it opened up the floodgates to weird, strange people. Where when
Oh,
we didn't have the internet, these people had to live in the closet. Now they can just walk
across the
around and they
board.
control on an internet. It's
Well,
really
yeah, I
bizarre.
mean, they're keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
You don't got to show your face. You can type on a keyboard. You can put
Hmm.
anybody's face you want.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. I mean, it's a coward haven,
Hmm. It is right for
and
sure.
it is. It's a coward haven. And of course, behaviors is something I've always focused and paid attention to is people's behaviors.
Hmm.
Why? Because that's the source of division. That's the source of stuff that gets you attacked by somebody you think's your friend. Okay? Paying attention to behaviors. And I don't even mess around with trolls. My last few years when I was doing stuff, if a troll comes along, I just block or remove them.
Hmm.
They run off and make another channel. So what? You know how long it took you to make that channel? I'll remove you and count 1001, 1002. You're gone.
Right.
Took you 20 minutes to make it. Took me fucking not even 2 seconds to remove you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now they're pissed off because I spent all this time and I still can't. Well, no, you can't because I don't want you over here trolling me.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be trolled. If you can't get, it's like if you come to Steve's page and you're under one of Steve's videos, this is Steve's house.
Hmm.
Have respect for him. If you can't have
Right.
respect for him when you're in his house,
Hmm.
then get the hell out. And please let the door hit you in the ass on the way out.
Right.
Okay? It's not to be mean, but that's how I feel about that. Now, as many channels as there is on YouTube, you mean I don't hear anybody, I don't see anybody. I mean, Steve, I haven't watched TV in years. Don't lie. I don't even own one.
You poor thing. You
Okay.
don't know what you're missing.
I missing nothing.
You don't
Okay.
know what you're missing.
Now I know exactly
You know,
what
there's
I'm
that
missing,
show
what I
called
don't
Sunny
miss.
in Philadelphia, and I've never seen one episode of that show. And it was like 50, it's been on for like almost 20 years. I
Yeah.
like I've never seen one episode of that show.
But if people are watching TV, they generally don't tune to a channel or a program they don't like.
Hmm.
So why would you come to my channel or Steve's channel if you don't like us?
Hmm.
Do you got a mental illness? Maybe you need some help. I
Yeah.
mean, it's the reality. Okay, but I ain't gonna worry about people because what are they gonna affect me now?
All right.
You're not going to affect me by calling me names.
Right.
I've had everything under the sun thrown at me. Okay, everything, and I don't care. You're not going to affect me. Oh, what are you gonna do? Threaten to kill me? Go ahead. I don't care. I just don't care. And if the powers to be, they want to come down and take me out tomorrow, that's fine with me.
They
Because
have
I,
bigger fish to fry
it's,
than people like we're such low
yeah,
subscriber rates. But Bill, the other question that I ask is these people that have these huge subscriber rates, like 400,000, 500,000. Do you think this is organic or do you think that these people are being propped up?
no. I would, if I was to tell you what I feel, and I would have to agree with Adam.
Adam,
Adam used to call into my radio show. He's over in Japan right now.
ooh,
Okay.
Oh, by the
Adam,
way, I hate to.
you muted yourself.
All right, go ahead. Sorry. Tell me about Adam.
Adam would tell you we have 5.5 million people working for the establishment every day online.
Right.
And on YouTube, if they've got big numbers for subscribers, chances are they're working for the establishment,
Right.
especially if they claim to be telling truth.
Yeah, I just had a conversation with a guy yesterday. Now, get a load of this. Do you ever see these people that do their homestead videos and they got like 1 million subscribers?
Yes.
These are just actors. These are not real homesteaders. Homesteaders don't have time to edit video and do professional Hollywood effects and raise cattle at the same time. This is all a joke. It's all fake.
Well, Steve, when you're
And I told him
homesteading,
because he
Steve,
said the same thing. He says, I don't understand like how these people make it look so easy. Like it's like, oh well, I'm feeding the chickens now, and they get a real hillbilly woman to do it. Like this one called Appalachian Homesteader. It's not an organic channel. It's some Hollywood studio, but hiring a hillbilly actress to play the role of a farmer. It's all fake.
well, on top of that, let's get real. Let's look at the modern day farm. You notice these big,
They're giving
long,
you
warehouse
false hope,
looking
Bill.
buildings?
Nobody's homesteading. Nobody's doing
Oh,
this.
I understand that, but
The government would shut you down if they saw you
I'm in
homesteading.
Iowa,
Yeah.
and I can tell you from driving across these by these farms, it's not the farm you used to seeing.
Right.
One time we used to have farms where they had all the cattle out here, and you had all the pigs over here, and you had the blah blah blah, right? But now you drive and these cattle farm, and you're looking, where's the cattle?
Yeah.
Where's the cattle? Okay, it's a pig farm. Where's the pigs?
Yeah.
They got lots of chickens. Where?
Yeah.
Oh, they got these big long buildings out there. Where are they at? They're in them buildings.
Oh, wow.
Okay, that's why are they doing that? Because if they do make a shortage, you're not going to be able to tell they are. Okay, so but when you're seeing these homesteading videos and they're on old McDonald's farm over here.
Yeah, it is so they get a real genuine country lady to go, oh well, it sounds I'm feeding the pigs, doing this, doing that. It's so fake. It's like it's done in a Hollywood. This is all Hollywood. And the same thing with these off-gridders, like some of them are living the good life. And yeah, we're living in the yeah, they had 2.9 million subscribers. It's like it's so fake. It just can't be real. It's it to me, it's
No,
all
that's just
it's
it, man.
processed in a Hollywood laboratory. And so
If
what I'm
you are working for the establishment, Steve,
yeah.
with the tool,
Yeah, for the money,
you
yeah.
could have one of them channels and you can have some actors come along and do your scripts for you.
Yeah, you could have a whole 30-man video editing crew doing all the and doing all of
Exactly.
your yeah.
It doesn't work that way, I've edited videos and I've made a lot of videos in my time. And editing eats a lot of time.
It eats a lot of time and plus especially the professional graphics that they make proprietary.
Oh
That
yeah.
stuff you have to be like go to school for that. So there's no way these people are doing these videos by themselves. It's all done in a Hollywood studio.
Anything you've seen me do editing wise, I actually done.
Mhm.
But editing takes a lot of
A
time,
lot of time to crop video and just move on. Yeah. But I think
So
the establishment is now allowing you to criticize Israel because they're going into the next phase of this. It no
well,
longer,
yeah, you're going to be allowed right now to criticize Israel. I would be careful about what you criticize because
yeah,
we're approaching a time where
yeah,
they're
they're kind of
holding
in the
on to
next
everything.
phase. I look at it like this: like what used to be taboo now is not, but it's not because the powers that be are losing control. They're not. They're gaining more control. They're just
Oh,
allowing you to give you this false sense of freedom that you got freedom.
well, they are. Plus, they get to keep a list of the people that are actually saying stuff that they
Yes,
don't approve of.
right, like us.
Yeah, you know, and if you get too far away, they'll just remove you anyhow. I mean, you want to
Yeah,
be careful about the topics you're
yeah.
going to.
They already took
I
down
mean,
Stardust's channel just recently. Stardust had like 15 years of videos are from his channel, and they took the whole thing down. So bad.
oh, it doesn't take much. I never got my original
And
channel
he
back.
didn't understand. He said they went into the archive like 5 years ago, and he said it was like some of these were like in private mode, and they still went after him.
That's because, see, And people like Monograph, I mean, the guy works for the system,
Yeah.
and he will lie to you and tell you that the reason he still got his channel up and don't lose anything is because he puts it on private. Well, let me tell you something from a person who's lost channels and had to take a little cartoon, watch a little cartoon video, and do a test to get back on my channel on YouTube. Okay? When it comes right down to it, there's only one way to save your channel from a video that YouTube don't want up there. Delete it.
Mm-hmm.
Private, unlisted, no, your channel's still gone. Okay? And that's only if you get time to delete it. Maybe they'll delete you before you get a chance to delete it.
Yeah.
Okay? They're not going to really give you, I mean, I remember getting they used to give you that pink page. They suspended you out of your channel for a while. They would tell you what you did wrong. And I did a video and I pointed out a car accident where a person was texting and driving. Okay? There was no blood, no gore, no nothing. And I talked about the texting and driving. And within 15 minutes, the video was gone. And I had the pink page. Well, they took the video down saying I put pornography in my video. But there was no pornography in it. Even Kevin watched it. And he was laughing. He says, "What pornography?" They just didn't like the fact that I was telling the truth and showing this. I'm not allowed to do that. There has to be somebody that's given the tool that's been approved to send this message. I'm not allowed to tell this message, so therefore I'm not approved. We got to take him out. I'm going to 153. I was very careful when I opened up TFL War to the political videos go over here to 153. Anything dating related will stay on TFL Award, right? So that's what I was doing. And I actually knew what videos was putting where. Then the one day, my channel gets struck for a video that was never on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
It was on 153. Well, what did YouTube do? They went over to 153, downloaded my video, uploaded it on my channel, and struck me. You talk about desperate to strike somebody.
Mm-hmm.
When you get under their skin, they don't like it.
All right.
I've been attacked for a long time by them. Okay. But I don't do too much anymore, as Steve knows. You don't see me making anything anymore.
Did you just give up on the TFL crowd? Like, I mean, what made you just not want to do it? You've pretty much said all you can say, and you don't really feel it's necessary to keep talking about it.
Well, I've said everything I can say, and I keep repeating myself over and over. Okay. And then, of course, the message falls on deaf ears.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you try to point out the root cause and get people to understand that this is the real cause, and if you try to bring people together to stand a chance to do anything,
Mm-hmm.
it ain't going to happen. We're already too far gone.
Right.
Okay. But when the message falls on deaf ears and it's over and over, now, right now, I mean, we do got a whole bunch of newer people on YouTube. And I'm like this old hillbilly guy from way back when.
Right.
Okay. Because you got all these young new people and fresh people on here that have heard about TFL.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's a lot of people that still know Steve, and Steve's had his times off of YouTube. He's back
I
on
get,
and
I get. Oh, you're too
on,
old
you
to talk
know.
about this. Me and you are wiser than half these 197 IQ 19-year-olds. They act like they know everything.
Oh, well, that's like 14 going on 50, right?
Right, right. You got these
Okay. That's what I
19-year-olds that
call
come
that,
into the manosphere and they act like they've got the whole human algorithm all figured out. It drives me
Well,
nuts.
they ain't got squat figured out.
You have to live to figure the world out. You have to live.
You do. You have to have some life behind you, 19 years old and 20 years old. You haven't got the world figured out. You might think you're all this and this and this and that, but you're not.
Hmm.
Okay, when it comes to like the manosphere and it comes to true force loneliness, I'm sorry. There's nobody more than myself or Steve Holker that's talked about this topic.
Hmm. Right.
You're looking at the two biggest speakers on that
Yeah, we
topic.
are. We're pretty much the founders of this whole concept, and it just they rode with the term incel, but the true force loneliness is the best term that describes a
Well,
phenomenon where a
they
man
can
can,
ride with the incel they want, but see,
yeah,
when you're asleep to what's really going on, you run with the establishment's name. So just understand, all you guys that are calling yourself incel, that you do agree that there was a female who couldn't get laid.
hmm,
And that's the reason you're going with that name. Because you feel sorry for her, right?
yeah,
I know I'm being sarcastic, but the reality is the reality. Truth, force, loneliness. I was never going to back down on that name
hmm,
because it tells it as it is. You
right,
did not ask to be pushed out and rejected over and over and over and over and
right,
over. And if they tell you, well, you just ain't got confidence, BS.
hmm,
You didn't walk in their shoes to know what they done in their life.
right,
You know, they approached the female, they probably had more confidence than you ever had.
yeah.
And when they're rejected in 2.5
I
seconds, what are
just
they
came
going
to the
to do?
conclusion, Bill, that I go to the gym about 4 to 5 days a week. I've just come to the conclusion that women simply are not interested in men today. I mean, I don't know any other way to describe it. If you go to the gym, you could go every day for the 365 days and not get one woman talk to you.
You got that right. And if you try to talk to her, you'll probably find yourself on
Well, you
TikTok
can't
being
because she's got her
slammed.
headphones in. She won't let you get into her zone.
Oh, well, there you go. She's not in her space. It's probably better off you don't because
Yeah,
you'll lose your membership or you'll find yourself on TikTok being slammed. She'll be saying things about you never said.
right,
It's not worth it. If she's interested in you, let her do the approaching of you.
right.
I mean, what else can I say? I mean, it ain't gonna hurt a woman to approach you.
Hmm.
Well, that's not the oh BS. I don't know
Well,
who
it
told
does,
you.
yeah, if they're interested in you, and like I said before, I don't think that
Yeah,
like you said, the TFL phenomenon, it's not going to end in people's lifetimes. Now, the question that I would
no,
ask you, we can segue into this real quick. What is going to become of these TFL men? Are they going to be revolutionary? Could this be something that poses a threat to the powers that be if these men came out of the closet? And I doubt they will because they're such
I
cowards.
don't think they will. I think,
They'll just
personally,
suffer a humiliating life.
I think humiliating life, and I think a
Yeah,
lot of them, like if they call a draft, they might just choose to go to prison first.
yeah.
They might tell you, why would I want to go put my life on the line and fight for a
Right, that's the
country that
biggest
threw
problem
me
they're
under
going
the
to
bus?
have because back in the day, like we barely have like 1.1 million active soldiers. That's shitty. That's a small army. We out of a nation of 360 or 30, 40 million, we only have 1.1 million active soldiers. That's insane. So
Yeah.
that tells you the how stretched thin we are. You really think you're going to get these guys that are living true force loneliness to want to go out there and fight for their country? Hell no.
They'll probably choose the later to go, well, put me in prison, kill me.
Yeah,
I don't care. Why would I go fight for a country who threw me under the bus?
right.
And you can't blame them for that neither because, you look at the reality. When you get right down to it, and of course nothing's 100%, you got one hell of a lot of females that are looking for 6 foot plus.
Yeah,
So what about all the guys that ain't 6 foot plus?
I guess they're
Oh
they're
well,
yeah,
you know. Oh well, I get your TFL because we don't care, But watch us whine if we can't get, but. But of course, nothing's 100%. That's not all women, but the behaviors. Even if you get a woman in your life, you have to question it. Do you want that in your life? Is she going to be a help in your life? Is she going to be there for you and really like you for you? Or is she going to be there for what you make or what she can get out of you?
Bill, it's even worse than that. I don't think the average woman even cares. If you were to have $1 million in your bank account and tell a girl, "Hey, I've got this $1 million. I'll share it with you. Just be my girlfriend." I don't think they would take the bait. I think most women don't need your money. They are so addicted to their high that true force loneliness spreads so far that even having money doesn't guarantee it.
Well, I would think that you'd have to have a lot more than 1 million.
Right.
And then you'd probably only be guaranteed it until it was gone. And as soon as it was
Right.
gone, then she was gone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like paying for a fancy prostitute.
Well, that's what that is.
Yeah. That's what I would call it. So why even go there?
Right.
I
You
think
get.
most guys that are living TFL,
Hmm.
unless they get lucky, they need to find a way to make themselves happy.
Right.
And if you just pay attention to the behaviors and how men that actually have a woman in their life are being treated by the women they're with, it probably won't take you long to figure out you really don't want one in your life anyhow.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, that's the only thing I can really say about that.
It's a bad situation. The divorce rate is mostly initiated by women anyway. So,
That's
it's
true.
yeah, it's initiated by women. So you're in a lose-lose situation, and she can have you evicted out of your house. Like this situation with this guy, he's living with the live-in lover, and she gets him evicted from his house, and she's living in there while he's paying the bills. That's insane.
Yeah, it is. And she's gonna be in that house living there while he's paying the bills. I guess me, if I was evicted
Yeah,
from
I'm
my
just
own
to the
house,
point now where I'm thinking that a lot of men that need a woman constantly, maybe the very thing that we've learned in this new generation is that maybe this was a good thing that happened to men. It showed men how to survive without a woman, you know?
well, you know what, Steve, I would have to agree with that. Because I would have to say at first it wasn't, but you think about it this way. A lot of guys that are TFL have no idea the kind of bullet they dodged
Yeah,
because that's what it's like. It's like dodging a bullet. Because when you pay attention to the behaviors, then you realize that do you really want to go through that? Most of them are going to say no. Well, TFL guy ain't got to worry about that, does he?
hmm,
You like the media for all them years talking about how guys are always cheating, guys are always cheating. And I said, so what? So you mean when they crashed their luggage between their legs with their hand, they were cheating when they thought of somebody?
when they what?
Because cheating.
Yeah, but
The
what
media
do you,
push guys for cheating.
yeah,
And so you think about the guys that are TFL.
yeah.
They can't never be caught cheating because they can't even get a date.
Yeah, right. Well, that's true. You're almost, but Mitchell said something to me one time. He says we're paying for the sins of a small minority of men that were kind of assholes too. You can't deny the fact that there's been a lot of men that have made this very bad for guys.
Well, that's true because of greed. They
Yeah,
don't care.
yeah,
They think they're more of a man.
right,
They've deluded themselves into this makes them more of a man. I'm always like if you can run through this girl, this girl, this girl, this girl, and you think that makes you more of a man, well, when you got a kid from this girl and a kid from this girl and a kid from this girl and a kid from this girl,
mhm,
and you're living in a cardboard box and working a full-time job because child support's killing you, I guess that made you more of a man.
right,
you know, I would have to say Steve, at least he ain't got to worry about his check being raped over. His pay's his pay. When he goes home, he ain't got to worry about, well, his old lady was out spending his money while he was at work today.
right.
I mean, he has some advantages, and the
Well, a lot of
reality is,
guys do. Most guys that are working that don't have girlfriends are at that advantage because they don't
yeah,
have to support. Because men are human doings, women are human beings, but men are human doings.
I love that.
How about this? Women love women, men love women. Women hate men, men hate men.
That quote, I always got that from you, and if
Yeah,
you got it from somebody else, I don't know,
yeah,
but that quote is so accurate,
hmm,
so accurate.
yeah,
You can't even get around it. That's how accurate it is.
yeah,
And I don't care what people think that way, it would be true.
hmm,
Okay, it don't matter. It is actually true.
yeah,
What Steve said right there is actually true.
yeah,
But just always remember your video that you made, picky, picky, picky,
yeah,
fits in today's society beautifully.
yeah. It fits perfectly. Picky, picky, picky.
It's a thing you do off the cuff that you don't think about at the time.
Yeah, those are the best videos.
Okay, then they land later on to be wow.
My
Because
P
you,
Renaissance video was off the cuff. It was like I just did that in a parking lot at a Home Depot. That thing ought to be it. One guy said this is the one of the most best, greatest men's rights videos of all time.
it was
Yeah,
that was a good hit.
Yeah.
Just like you picky, picky, picky. People out think, but it is.
Yeah.
Then I mean, sometimes when you do something off the cuff,
Yeah.
that turns into your best.
It's hard to really rehearse this stuff. I did a video last night. I did it months ago, but I released it about sports fans being the biggest losers. And you know what? I didn't plan that out. I just got in my car, was driving, and I said, "The hell with it. I'm going to just get this off my mind," because the Cleveland Browns were given this black linebacker this guaranteed contract for 123 million for just 3 years, and I said, I got to get this off my mind like right now. And he was a guy that already he said he was going to leave. His name's Miles Garrett. He was going to leave the team for better pastures, and then he stayed. And then he said, "Well, I thought you hated the team so bad." And I guess the money talk. So I did this, but the best videos are the unrehearsed ones.
Well, yeah, that's typically how it is. It's like thinking you're going to get a viral video.
Right.
You're not getting a viral video.
You
And
and
if
I
you
are
do,
not
it's
getting
going to
viral
be,
videos. We won't get a viral video because we're too honest, and
yeah.
the powers that be are never going to allow. I think all this viral video crap is just it's all arbitrary. They make a distort.
Well, I've got viral videos, but they're harder than hell to get. You don't know when you're going to get it. It just happens.
Yeah.
And nowadays, getting a viral video is almost down to the next because
Hey,
they got it.
how about the viral video where the girl said I'm lonely and all these remember that girl? Remember that
Yes.
video with that girl? She was very like a 5 out of 10, and she goes, "I'm just so lonely," and all these pussy whip guys were coming in there.
They all go running. Oh, what's that? Oh, that's a herd of cattle
Yeah.
chasing.
God, men are so desperate. Yeah.
No, you're not gonna. I don't worry about it. It's like I've had some viral stuff.
Hmm.
TFL was viral.
Yeah.
I mean, that went worldwide.
It did, but it didn't go in the it didn't like get the kind of like one video didn't get like 1 million views or anything.
Well, I can remember after about a year and a half or so of doing it for my channel, my original channel,
Yeah, your Bill
I
124.
was hitting 10,000 views a day.
Oh wow, you were unbelievable.
Yes, and that went on for almost a year or so. And then it's like once Google got their hands on YouTube, I went from 10,000 plus views per video per day down to under 100.
Mm,
Oh, I wonder how that works. It just
that's
shows the
amazing. Yeah,
censorship was that big.
right.
TFL itself, first year and a half, 2 years, you could put it, especially right after I first created it, it didn't exist in any search engine.
Hmm.
And by the time I was doing the Blog Talk Radio show, it was 11 million plus.
All right. That's another thing. The Blog Talk Radio. By the way, they went out a bit. Your archives are hard to find now because Blog Talk went out of business. So your stuff is in.
Oh,
Yeah, I feel bad about it. You're
oh
great. You
well.
never archive those shows at all?
No, I had too many. Almost 5 years worth,
5 years worth
five
of
days a
blog talk. You
week.
were
I
very
had too many.
yeah. 5 days a
So,
week, I think. You were on like, dude, you had so many great callers and great shows, man. Those are gone. I don't that Blog Talk Radio was your best stuff.
Blog Talk Radio, I did that show 5 days a week for almost 5 years.
Wow.
Hey, I suppose we should jump off here.
Okay, well, we've been on here. We can do up another one here because I know you got things to do. So I'll just finish the date night. It's September 30th, 2025, 7:15 p.m. Eastern time. And Bill, just stay on here for a couple minutes and I will talk to you shortly. Stay right there.